Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. I'm Haarshwaran from Malaysia and I'm currently getting some training in ISKCON Salem. So the purpose of me being in ISKCON Salem is to get trained in a proper way and also learn proper etiquette, Vaishnava etiquette, and also to share this knowledge when I go back to Malaysia. And today's topic that I've been suggested to talk about is how I came to Krishna Consciousness. So this discussion or this sharing would be broken from this 12 years, 8 years phase. So the first 12 years is talking about my family background and how I was when I was within the 12 years old. I'm coming from a very, I would say not very, but a pious Hindu background where my family members, especially my grandmother, was quite devoted into religious practices and also quite devoted in the practice of Vedic culture. She is born in India, got married and came to Malaysia, and she has been a big pillar for us to be strong in our religious life. And me being a small kid, I was also quite devoted, but not to Krishna, but to Lord Murugan at that point of time. I was worshipping Muruga for the sake of getting good results, and I would always perform the rituals properly, performing puja, attending Devaram, bhajan classes, and that's how I've been brought up in that era of that 12 years. And I also was excelling well in my academics, and everything starts to get interesting when I step into the age of 13, when I entered the secondary school. So when I started entering, I've been exposed to many things which is not a right thing according to Indian culture. For example, talking about sex. This is something that is very much never ever discussed in a family, but on only a few days, I've been exposed to this kind of thingy from my friends, definitely. And later on, I've been exposed to drinking at the age of 15. And then it started to get even more worse. And at the age of 17, I've been finding for girlfriends, and then was going through a life where I've been trying to please women. All these things were going on. And even during the age of 17, I have a very important examination which is going to decide my life, which is called as Malaysian Education Certificate. They call it SPM in Malaysia. And during that particular year, I should be serious, but I was playing the fool, thinking of how to get a girlfriend, something like that. So it's a foolish decision that I've made, which I regretted. But all these things became like this is because of the association I was in at that point of time, and it made me intrigued. Hey, what is there in the man and women relationship? Why am I not exploring that phase? Because when I was within the 12 years old, I was quite clear in my goal, where I was thinking, okay, I shouldn't get into any relationship because it's not the right age to be in any form of relationship. You only can get into a relationship when you're thinking of getting married, and that also should be done with the approval of parents. But the culture that I've been brought up, or maybe the school culture, taught me otherwise, where it's okay to free mix, it's okay to talk with girls, it's okay to impress them, go out with them, talk to them, all those things are normal. And I've been categorized as an innocent kid who don't know anything, nerd, all these things were being told to me. So okay, why not? Let's explore that phase. And I started exploring and going for drinking and engaging in this kind of talking with girls, being a boyfriend, all these things were going on. And this is during that 17 years old. And I wasted my life when I regretted. 3 months before the exam, I got a reality hit where I was thinking, hey, what am I doing with life? You have only 3 months. You have not studied anything. How are you going to sit for examination? I went into a first phase of anxiety and depression. Why I'm saying first phase is because there was also other series which I went through, mental health issues. And from there, I've been sent to a tarot card reader who is like an astrologer Jyotisham person, who told me that, okay, you are messing up with your life, your association is bad, but you have a very good spirituality inclination. So she told me to come and serve in the temple, but the temple is a Kali temple and it's quite famous for dark tantra. So I've been getting into those things, and I'm trying to expose to those kind of black magic kind of thingy, and I started seeing much more worse things happening, where I started associating with them more, and also I was exposed to exorcism, means rituals to chase evil spirit. All those things were going on. I'm like crazily exploring life, like what is actually happening. And then at one point of time it checked, where I was out for collecting donation for the temple. I was driving my father's car without his permission. At that point of time, I'm quite a spoiled kid. Even my cousins were told not to associate with me because of my behavior. And my relatives tend to look down upon me and tell me, hey, what are you doing? You have been a very good student, a good son. You are now a disgrace. Even my sister told me that thing. So on that particular day where I went to collect donation for the temple, I was driving the car. After that, I was hijacked by pride, I would say. By pride, or the tendency to show off, where I have two friends with me and I was driving the car as fast as I can. And then there was a slight turn. I was still speeding, and what happened was I lost control. The car drifted and it just hit the pavement or the side of the road, which is a little higher, and it just crashed, and the car turned 90 degrees, and that's it. It crashed. Done. And the car was declared total damage. And I don't know what to say. I thought I died in that accident. I was like trying to escape. Hey, what is this? I thought I'm a good driver. I was in a high peak of pride, thinking that, okay, I cannot be doing all these things. I'm good, I'm great. All these things were in my head. But realizing that they say pride comes before fall, and I fell. And all those who have had a good impression on me has totally shattered. Even everyone started thinking bad about me. So at that point of time, I realized that I need to do something about it. I need to change my life. I need to set a good example for those who are seeing me, because I'm the grandchild, first eldest grandchild, both sides of my parents. So I had to do something. So I started to work on spirituality, started to work on self-development, self-help. I started reading self-help books, and then I started going through my last phase, which is this STPM, they call it. STPM is another exam. In India, they call it 12th exam. So that's my only chance to recover back from my tragic result, which I got for my SPM. So I started to work on my myself, where my focus is very bad. My anxiety level is very high. I'm not happy. I cry to myself. All these things were happening. So I started going through meditation. I went through all sort of things from many people who are not authorized by Vedic scriptures. And then I came to a phase where I was studying well in STPM. Suddenly I got another phase of anxiety depression attack, and that lasted for 4 months. No one knows except a little of my close ones, where I've been questioning about myself, like, why am I here? Why am I doing all these things? Why this mind cannot be controlled? Why it's so hard to be controlled? And how can I overcome this situation? I cannot do anything. I worshipped this Muruga, I worshipped Shiva, I worshipped everyone. They are not showing me a correct path. I'm chanting Om Namah Shivaya every day. Nothing is working. Why? And I asked Shiva, what is the truth? Why am I not seeing any progress? Why am I going through this? And I even asked Muruga, and at that point of time, there's a temple near my house where they don't have a pujari. They put me as a pujari in the temple. I was like doing Abhishek, doing Taipusam, and telling Muruga, why am I going through all these things? Please show some light. And a close friend of mine, on January 2021, told me that there is a Gita Gyan series that been organized by ISKCON Malaysia. That is a 18 days study of Bhagavad Gita of the 18 chapters, which is a summary study. And I enrolled to it, and the class started on February 2021. And rest of it is a history. My life started transforming from that point onwards, where one of the very important knowledge I received was from the chapter 2, where Krishna describes to Arjuna, you are not this body, you are the spirit soul. And that makes me to think, hey, I have been struggling because I'm thinking I'm this body. So if I'm not this body and I'm the soul, then all these problems can be solved. Then I started to go deeper and deeper to understand this Atma Tattva, which is the science behind soul. And with more understanding about Gita, I'm convinced that okay, Gita has something to change my life. Within that 18 days, everything started changing. One of my Shiksha Guru who has been giving that class, which is His Grace Patita Tarana Jagannath Prabhu, he guided me through the phase, and he also started a book distribution marathon, in the sense that he wanted to distribute 5,000 books in a year. And I started to serve him in that way. I started to find more ways to help him out. And I started distributing books to my school, my friends. And from that point of I developed taste for Krishna consciousness. And I started associating with devotees in my hometown, which is called as Ipoh, Para. And once I get into my degree life, where I got enrolled in law degree in National University of Malaysia, which is one of the top universities in Malaysia. And I started associating with Veera Parikshit Prabhu and Raja Parikshit Prabhu, with whom I conducted a few seminars for the students there with their help. And after that, I started associating with ISKCON Kuala Lumpur, where I've been guided by His Grace Rasa Prayana Prabhu and Her Grace Rati Gopika Mataji, who have been given a lot of opportunity for me to grow in Krishna consciousness, who gave me the opportunity to associate with pure devotees, sannyasis, and develop that taste, a higher taste for Krishna consciousness, and let go of all those lower mundane tastes I had in previously. And after I completed my law degree, I've been suggested by Veera Parikshit Prabhu to come to ISKCON Salem to get a proper training. Another thing is, I thought to myself that I need a break from all these material things. I need to get spiritually educated, because it's a very important education that we need for survival. It's not survival, but to really taste the genuine happiness and elevate our consciousness to a higher degree. So that is why I'm here, to learn a lot on what is Krishna consciousness properly, without any dilution, deviation, and at the same time follow it in a practical manner. Sometimes the philosophy can be high, but how to follow it is a question. And here in ISKCON Salem, you get to be trained on all these basic things, from punctuality, cleanliness, from how to clean a temple, how to present yourself nicely, how to respect another devotees. And these are all basic things, and you also be trained on how to do a proper kirtan, how to give a proper lecture, how to even wash pots in kitchen. And all these things we've been taught here to become a proper person, a proper devotee in Krishna consciousness. So I urge everyone not to miss any moment. Please visit ISKCON Salem right now, wherever you are. Please book a ticket, come here and see this beautiful place here. And it will be opening soon, within 1 year or 2 years, which Krishna's willing. And Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhubheva cha padithanam bhavinebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.